My name is Neto. I'm an internal medicine physician by training. I sort of left medicine, at least the practice of clinical medicine, to build a digital health technology startup. Built a couple of products, and then just over a year ago, decided to integrate some micro insurance into the products that we build. So we now have a micro health insurance product in partnership with AXA, and that aims to cover the common conditions and common health challenges that people face, and provide them with better access to financing to reduce the dependence on out-of-pocket expenditure. We've done that over the last year and a half, and we learned quite a bit in the process. So it's great to be able to speak with everybody here and share some of that experience. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you very much. So Muhammed is back, but we're doing some introduction. So next, Aparajit.
Hello, everyone. So I'm joining you guys from India. My name is Aparajit. I'm basically an insurance and InsurTech enthusiast. It's been about 20 years that I'm in the insurance business. Worked with all major big brands, even worked in Africa. I have lived and worked in Lagos for about a couple of years with Allianz Nigeria PLC. So the interest lies in creating creative and digital solutions to take insurance to the underpenetrated mass markets. And that is one of the reasons why, after coming back to India, I did not continue with my corporate career and founded an InsurTech called Insure First. So we work with a lot of different partners, MFIs, social help groups, as well as local level point of sale insurance agents to create simple solutions which can be easily placed in front of the customer digitally. And we have been doing this work since last about 4.5 years. And going forward, we are trying to work into other inclusive insurance programs like extended warranties for gadgets, etc. We are also working on bite-sized health insurance programs for the underserved mass markets. So these are the couple of things that we are working on currently, and I'm extremely happy and glad to be part of this panel discussion today. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure indeed to be here. And first off, congrats to the IBS team on organizing this conference. So a bit about my background. I'm foundationally a medical doctor, but I've been on the insurance side of the fence for the past 16 years. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Health InsurTech, which is called Hadiel. I also double as the convener for a social impact project in the InsurTech space, which is called Africa InsurTech Rising. It's a pleasure to be here today, and I look forward to sharing thoughts with the rest of the audience. Thank you.
Good morning. Name is Adeola Adebanjo, as you said. I work with AXA Mansard. I currently head the retail division of the business. I've done about 15 years in the financial services sector, spanning from banking to investment and finance. And I've always been the market-facing end of the business, dealing to customers. So that's my own strength. And we, as AXA, we have what we call the market customers, which is one of the things we're discussing today. And I'm happy to be on board. Thank you.
Yeah, so since we have everyone, we've all everyone introduce themselves. So I'll just go straight to the discussion today. Now, one of the things, the topic here today is actually simplifying insurance for the emerging markets. So everything we'll be discussing here will be about simplicity and also looking into the emerging markets and how insurance can actually be the bridge to cover those gaps. Now, for Dr. Ikpeme and Adeola Adebanjo, I think I would like to throw this question to you first. There is a very innovative product from Wellahealth that we can see in the market now, the popular malaria insurance, which goes for as low as 450 naira per month. How the these two companies come together to bring about this product? Because the reason why we're starting with this is because we understand that simplicity is very important in insurance. When it comes to digital transformation, simplicity is a key thing. So for these two companies to be able to come together and create something for the masses, because that is where the real, the grassroots is the target. So for them to be able to come together and create this, we need you to quickly brief us about the beginning and where you are and where you are going. Thank you. So Dr. Ikpeme first, please.
Okay, thanks for that. And so AXA's emerging customers team have been a wonderful partner. We got introduced some time ago, and it was great to see the insights, and the desire they had for providing products that met the need of the emerging customer, right? And so I think there was an understanding of the limitations of the existing insurance products, and I think that's always a great place to start. I find that, and I think it's important to actually highlight this, that, having a dedicated emerging customers team, within AXA, makes a huge difference, because, they were willing to kind of think a bit outside the box and, accept that, the traditional way that insurance has been, sold and developed may not really work for, the vast majority of the population. Because as we know, insurance is very underpenetrated, and that's not for a lack of insurance companies. So I think, first of all, even just the way that team is set up and the insights that live within that team, was the first, great sign. And then, because they had that insight, it was very easy then to, start having that conversation around understanding the needs of the customers, and so, we've done some initial work, surveying customers and, actually testing some, products. We had done some of that work, independently, and they had also done that work, just doing the research. So I think one thing that we mutually shared was that, feel for the customer, not assuming that we understand the customers, but actually going out into the real world, to speak to customers, survey them and understand where the challenges were. And so when we compared notes, we found that, we kind of really, saw the same things, that we needed to look after the common condition that people were, spending money on, at least as a bridge to, building trust, exposing them to, a different way of thinking about paying for their healthcare, and then over time, progressing them along to paying some more. Because I think the challenge is not even so much that, say low-income people don't have insurance. It's even, say, middle-income people that could potentially afford it, even they don't have insurance. And I think sometimes that's really a trust and education problem. And I think, with the emerging customer team in AXA, we're certainly, in a position now to start to understand that customer segment and provide products for them. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Adeola.
So, just to speak more to what I said, and I'll take it a bit further. Typically, what you need to do is always try and leverage on partnerships and try and find, the strength of the ecosystem. So what you see is the first case of, or perhaps a unique case of partnership coming together to bring cost insurance to the consumers. Now, if you check one of the final reports, I think at the survey they did, they mentioned that 72% of the people they actually did conducted that survey had awareness as the major reason why they're not patronizing insurance. Now, you would find out that everybody has their strengths and comparative advantages. So what is important is for you to look for unique partners that have comparative advantage and strengths in certain areas, and ensure you can create the right value for the customers. I think that's what we've just done here as partners. Of course, we have a team, and of course, the team can't do it all by themselves, and find what the partners to put the products out in the way we put them out. We just only leverage on what works and the language and the manner that target market, that's very accessible to that target market and appreciate. So the traditional means work for some traditional insurance products, but again, you need to find what works for what.
Hi, InsurTech Business Series. Thank you for the good work that you're doing. Your podcasts are always interesting, thought-provoking, and educational. I am Ines, and I'm following you from Johannesburg, South Africa.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. Moving to the next, we should be looking at the areas that talks about collaboration and partnership, because that's a key thing. When Dr. Neto and Adeola, when they were talking, they were critically talking about collaborations and partnerships. So when it comes to partnerships, now for the insurance industry, we all understand that NICOM, that's our regulators, they have a huge role to play when it comes to partnerships. Now, the current challenges that is being faced in the industry is all about getting NICOM to sign, to bring the guidelines that actually guides web aggregators and other innovative value chain partners into the ecosystem. Now, my question to the panelists here is, how do we get the regulators to buy into these ideas, to buy into these innovative ideas? Dr. Tunde Salako, being a medical doctor and moving into the InsurTech, you are the founder of InsurTech Horizon. So I know you're doing a lot within that area. How are you bringing the entire, the ecosystem players into one to actually ensure that we're able to achieve something?
Okay, thanks very much, Mr. Mohammed. I think that's a very pertinent question, and it's a function of going back to the foundation and let's examine what is the foundational, definition of regulation, right? So, regulation is key. It's important. It's something that has to be put into place for every industry, and we have to give kudos to NICOM and other regulatory bodies within the insurance space on the steps which they're taking. Additionally, for me, from my own perspective, the critical things that need to be done is seeing how we can deepen that, should I say, for better choice of words, inclusivity. And when I say inclusivity, I'm not talking about now products reaching the end users. I'm saying carrying all the stakeholders within this ecosystem along in a way that everyone is able to contribute their own quota to improving, galvanizing, and leapfrogging the insurance space to what it's actually meant to be. There are a lot of things that can happen between 2020 and 2021, right? And if we look at it critically, the year of the COVID 2020 has actually accelerated a lot of solutions and products which are technology driven. And so, to summarize it, I think the first critical step will be to establish an innovation sandbox, right, which can pull everyone, within the ecosystem together. Innovation sandboxes are already happening in other parts of Africa. For instance, particularly within the InsurTech space, it's happening in Kenya, right? And while they're also taking one step at a time, I think we can emulate that and try and build a sandbox that will pull different innovations for stakeholders within the ecosystem together. There was a hackathon that happened sometime last year in July, and you'll be amazed at the kind of solutions that people had come up with, from the ideation to the seed to a very well developed stage, that were tackling tackling insurance real life scenarios, right? And so if we emulate what's also happening within the fintech space, where there is a sandbox in Nigeria that is pulling all the startups and ecosystem players together, innovators, I think the first thing we should be looking at is how can we establish a sandbox that can foster innovation, leapfrog creativity, and at the end of the day, build the system to what it should be. I'll stop there for now.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So, Aparajit, you are the most important, you're a critical person in this panel, because the reason why I'm bringing that up is because I know a few years ago, you worked with Allianz, and you were the chief retail officer. So what was the challenge within the industry trying to sell the retail products to the average Nigerian out there? For a global company coming into Nigeria and trying as much as possible to create that penetration, we all understand what the penetration level looks like in Nigeria. So what was your challenge, and how were you able to resolve that? And what is your company? I know you currently own your company now in India. So what is your company also trying as much as possible to do within the global landscape to improve that? Yes. Thank you.
Challenge in Nigeria is that everybody wants to underwrite oil and gas. Nobody wants to take insurance to the mass market. That's a very big challenge. While my exciting stay in that country, and of course, I consider myself as a Lagosian, it's like my second home. I have been to the various markets. You just name it, Oshodi and everywhere else. What really struck me are the basic things like, the fires in the markets. People who live in Lagos, all of us, we all know the market fires, right? But unfortunately, you will find that those kind of products are totally missing. Those risks, nobody wants to underwrite because there's a fear, the fear of God. I mean, my God, what will happen and stuff like that. But it's not that dire a situation that we kind of continue to look at. There's a lot of things to be done, to be very honest, in Nigeria. For example, let me give you an example. Let us forget the vulnerable section of the society. Let us talk about people like you and me. In India, Amazon has started selling insurance. So you just go to the Amazon website. There's something called an Amazon Pay. Through Amazon Pay, you can buy your motor insurance, your health insurance, your car insurance, so on and so forth. I wonder what is stopping Jumia and Konga to do the same. I don't understand why Jumia and Konga is still not embedding insurance into the system. And I do not know why the big players, we have a colleague from Mansard, AXA and all, are not backing such programs. So I think a lot of discussion needs to happen in terms of enabling this kind of ecosystems. It's not just about regulations. I can assure you, when I dealt with some of the people in the regulator in ICOM in Abuja, I found them to be very, very amicable gentlemen. It's not that they do not understand or they do not want to take decisions and stuff like that. It is just that, there needs to be a industry representation first. What I mean by that is, if you do not create a core representation team, which will talk to the regulators, urging them about the importance of bringing regulations like, online aggregation platforms, web aggregators and stuff like that, and you do not build a business case, they have 1,001 different things to attend to, right? So naturally, the priority gets lost somewhere. That's one. Secondly, coming to the very, very big opportunity in Nigeria is clearly microinsurance. And microinsurance is something, it's not new to Nigeria, but the existing regulations really needs a overall change when we have to involve people who are the Generation Z, as we call them, people who are born in the 1990s and later. Probably their window to the world is their smartphone. So therefore, if you want to transact an insurance contract with them, you will have to basically go mobile to do that. What I mean to say is that, mobility insurance, ride-sharing insurance, gadget protection, extended warranty, completely missing from the Nigerian markets. And I do not know why. So these are the things that we need to ask ourselves. We are still talking about the basics. I mean, endowment savings plan and funeral expenses and term life, etc., etc. But why are we not talking about gadget insurance programs? Why are we not talking about extended warranties? To give you a live example, Zhong'an, the Chinese digital insurer, we all talk about it, we all know about it. I think currently there's a sale going on, right? What we call is we call Black Friday sale, right? Typically in this kind of events, Zhong'an underwrites 200 million, 300 million policies in a day. So it's not about technology. I mean, technology is, of course, yes, cloud-based API infrastructure, blah, blah, blah. But the point is, what does Zhong'an sales? Zhong'an's main sale is parcel return policies. People who buy stuff from Konga and Jumia, and then there's a return. So you create those parcel return policies. You create extended warranty policies. and stuff like that. These are the main things which moves in this organ platform, more than health insurance. And health insurance also, they have just recently launched. So we need to figure out and understand that, yes, there are two segments. One is the underprivileged and underserved market, people who are living below subsistence, and how we can help them and support them. Of course, that needs to be a big program, and including government support, etc., needs to come in for crop insurance or for hospicash or health insurance programs in microinsurance space. But that is already there. It's already present there in Nigeria. What is missing are these digital products and these platforms. I think this is something which can really, really be a huge, huge market going forward, if you guys form a representation and take it to NICOM for approval.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Aparajit. You've really spoken a whole lot about a lot of things that we've been looking into, a lot of things that are quite evolving. And things that a lot of underwriters are actually battling with. Because, so if we look into, now there is something important that we really need to look at. There are some key points that I've been able to pick from each and everyone's contribution. We've been able to talk about creative awareness of insurance products. We've been able to talk about the fear of an average Nigerian when it comes to buying insurance products. And we are also talking about trust when it comes to the insurance industry. So this brings us to the issue of claims. How do we tackle issue of claims? Because the reason why I'm bringing this, because when we're trying to simplify products, we are basically talking about using digital technology to actually simplify all our processes. When it comes to the product, underwriting, claims, and customer experience and engagement. So we are basically talking about an hand-to-hand process. So how do we tackle the issue of claims in the industry? Adeola, I think I'll really appreciate if Adeola and Neto can actually tackle this, because they are dealing with the grassroots right now. So we need them to take this up, please.
Okay, thanks, Mohammed. And I'll just touch on one of the things we've done with emerging customers. So one of the things we identify when we talk about claims, you should take, for instance, we created what we call enhanced credit. Typically, what happens in the traditional insurance, when a lender lends out to a borrower, the lender is often concerned. They focus always about the lender most of the time, protect the lender. And then the question is, who is protecting the borrower, right? So one of the things we've tried to do, what we call enhanced credit, is to cater for both the lender and the borrower. And what do I mean by this? At that level, should anything happen to the borrower, we have products that, of course, at micro level that I mean, these are not commercial, really large commercial credits, but really large, small at that level, at the subsistence level. There are products that would not only cater for the installments, but also, give some payout, some compensation to the borrower, who have probably suffered some unfortunate incident beyond, his control, some unfortunate circumstances has hindered this person's ability to service that facility. That the kind of policy we created helps, to meet that obligation on behalf of that borrower, as well as also, give some compensation to the borrower, so that at both sides we're playing. And these are done with very little simple. And I'm going to take you back a bit to what the last speaker just said with respect to regulation and a few other things. I think everything is linked, both from the back end to the front end. You want to be able to ascertain the person you're giving insurance to. You also want to be able to, verify incidents when they happen. If there are a lot more synergy, perhaps between players, what we find today that everybody is running cycles. You give same information to the banks, you give same information to the insurance companies, you give same information for your driver's license, you give same information for your international passport. All same information, same Muhammed everywhere, same fingerprint, same date of birth. Now, if these things can't be shared, ascertaining, identity of people and ability to set the claim is a lot faster. What you found out is that so many loopholes, and people try to do some due care. Is why you find a bit of delay around issues. But for the margin customers, what we try to do, for looking at the scale of businesses, we've simplified things a lot more. Very little documents, even confirmation from key parties, as to whether this actually happened. Did someone really pass away? And someone says, yes, I was officiating minister. I mean, those are easy enough to settle such. We are not talking about very significant numbers. But when you come back to traditional insurance, where you are now talking of sizable and reasonable volumes of risk and settlement, you find out that a bit more needs to be done in during the due care that is required of people as a business. But I mean, taking it back is to have perhaps central points where players can, and then a lot of clients where you have seen these things work very well. Perhaps it's just a unique identifier where you have social security numbers. So you would even want to make a claim, you just put in your social security number, and all the background checks can be done. Police reports, medical reports, everything can be ascertained at click of reports and so on, because there's a centralized place where data is shared. What you find now is virtually everyone is, accumulating data, trying to gather their own data. But if you put all these things in a centralized, and that you have that backbone, it's a lot easier for people to administer some of these claims. And things have moved. The regulators are there. There's a lot more consumer awareness and rights. And where, you even have social media, that wasn't there traditionally in the past. Now, and the blog is to say, no, I have this claim and all that. And there's more social responsibility on the part of players also. A lot of reputational issues. People are trying to also ensure that we win the trust of people, where things are not done and things are escalated, people address it. I mean, I can say that from the industry. That's been a lot of improvement. But I think if data is more available, if there's the infrastructure backbone, for people to share a lot more information, we will see a better claim process being experienced by customers.
Thank you so much, Adeola. Yeah. So before we round up the session, Dr. Tunde,
I just wanted to add in there really quickly on the claim side.
Thank you.
So it's when we talk about claims, that's when me and my insurance colleagues depart. We often don't see eye to eye. Because
I'm really sorry. I was actually looking at the time. I really wanted you to talk about the claims aspect.
Yes,
really.
No, so that's where I depart from a lot of traditional insurance people. Because when insurers pay claims, they call it a loss ratio. What business exists where when you do what you promise to do, you call it a loss. So I think there is a fundamental mindset that kind of breeds a mistrust, right, in the minds of the customer. And I think that we are in a setting where we need to build that trust. We need to educate the market, and we need insurers to invest in doing that by just simply paying claims. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. We need to remove every barrier that prevents people from accessing these things. Because we think about fraud and all these other challenges. I think the bigger problem is that the market isn't really big enough, and the only way we can get the market to be big is by investing in that market and paying out claims. I think microinsurance is a great opportunity because our exposure is capped. We know what we're going to pay, and so when you have that, and we have the digital tools now to enable these things to happen, I think the attitude needs to be, let's just pay claims, let's grow the market, and then over time we can then put in the controls we need around fraud and things like that. If you look to the US, for example, Lemonade recently IPO'd. Their loss ratio started out at somewhere around 150%. If I take that to your average Nigerian insurer, they say, no. But you have to invest in the market. There's no way around
markets.
But there's no way around it. If we want to grow the market, we have to invest. We want to reap when we don't plant. I think it's important that we have that mindset of planting by paying claims and building trust. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So a quick one, Dr. Tunde. I know you have a new product in the market. Well, it's not new. I mean, the product has been out for some few months now. I mean, the COVID pandemic, it has really hit us really badly. I mean, globally. I mean, so I know you have a product called Symptoms Checker. and COVID-19 is one of those products. How have you designed the product journey? And also, I mean, looking into the customer journey, how do you think you've been able to capture this products in such a way that it will be so unique to the average Nigerian and the market?
Thank you, Mr. Mohammed. I think so. One of the things that we did fundamentally was not to try to reinvent the wheel. It was really about just leveraging on what was currently existing, right? So when this broke out, we wanted to just bring something different to the Pan-African markets, for better choice of words. We wanted something that will resonate for African usage. And why do I say that? So a lot of checkers, a lot of questionnaires and all sorts were flying around when the COVID period really just ramped up around middle of March. And so what we just did was we liaised with an international partner who already had a solution going, and we embedded their API to our own backend and basically just tweaked the questionnaires and the way the symptoms were being assessed to our own geographical and demographic location. So where when you will cross to Europe, you would find certain non-communicable diseases you don't find in the tropics in sub-Saharan Africa. We basically just looked at that back and worked with that team, their own design team, to tweak and geolocalize our own symptoms. And of course, when it came to the COVID, I mean, that was a general use case. Everybody was facing the same thing. So basically what we just did was we just embedded our APIs together, and we were working with the mindset of, okay, how would we bring something that was a little bit different, which was artificially intelligently driven, as opposed to just ticking the box and asking questions and then working with them, coding that was working on algorithms. So we partnered with some guys called Moderator. They're using grade A stuff. Their tech is really, really deep on machine learning and artificial intelligence. We embedded that to the back end, and we found out that it was more intuitive. Intuitive in the sense that when you answer the question, it took you directly to focus and delve deeper on that symptom which you were experiencing. And between March and the end of, should I say, July, we saw a very high ramp up on the people who were, because it was free. We didn't charge for it or anything. We just wanted that, that kind of solution to be in the market. And so moving forward, we're trying to now go end to end to see how we can also now deepen that symptom checker to work for other diseases, not only COVID. So we got a good response in that regard, but we're looking at how we can deepen the markets with other differential diagnosis moving forward. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. In Nigeria, there's a popular saying that you don't go to the farm, I mean, with your hoe and your cutlasses and all, and you find no farm to actually work on. So the major reasons why we are here, is because of our audience. So Adedamola, please, I would really appreciate if you can pick one or two questions from the audience so we can treat it.
Interesting session so far. I think a lot of people like Dr. Neto's statement recently. I knew that was going to be an interesting one, because we've had the conversation before and it was quite interesting. So there's a question here. So this is for Dr. Tunde. So it's asking about sandboxes in the insurance industry. So if Dr. Tunde can just speak a bit about, sandboxes and the role they can play in, growing innovation.
Okay, thank you, Adedamola. So the terminology is just it's just how will I put it? It's just a term that is used to describe an ecosystem where innovation is being fostered, where it's being deliberately grown, where certain solutions and products are being darted at the wall and responses are being gotten so that it is perfected before it's taken to the public. And so you would have things like beta testing, you would have market product fit valuations and all that inside a sandbox. So there's something currently existing in Kenya, which started July this year specifically. And it's been, it's an initiative that was driven by the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Kenya. What they just basically did was they tried to extend it so that it can complements what the current the insurance regulator is currently doing in Kenya. So that's existing. And then in Nigeria, there's something for the fintech ecosystem that actually exists. It's still it keeps evolving. It's a fantastic way of just pulling all together every startup in the ecosystem, every solution, every ideation, to build it, develop it, bulletproof it, and then push it out into the markets. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our time is fast spent. It was a very interesting session, and really appreciate everyone on this panel: Muhammed, Dr. Neto, Dr. Tunde, Adeola, Aparajit. Thank you. I'm sure that everyone on this call definitely enjoyed this. I did, and we definitely, energized towards doing something and not just sitting back, because there are a lot of things that can be done. And so, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I'll say one last thing: pay claims. Just pay claims.
Okay. Any takeaway from Aparajit, please?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think it was extremely interesting discussion that we had. And I also second this thought, we need to pay claims.
Yeah, thank you. Adeola.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Oh, thanks for having me. And we're paying the claims and we'll keep paying the claims, if I can say so.
Okay. Dr. Tunde.
Thanks, everyone. It's fantastic to be here today. Let's keep growing the space. Let's keep throwing things at the wall. Let's see which ones will stick. Let's foster innovation. Thank you.